busy Monday, so I made a quick chef salad for lunch. Yum, it was great. Ooh, y'all, it's hot out these doors today. It's almost 90 degrees today. I miss my porch. Been gone traveling and stuff. But y'all, it's supposed to throw down, blow down tonight. I know the weather woman and the weatherman said that there's some storms that tore through Indiana yesterday, and it's headed here to the east. So we're gonna have to batten down the hatch tonight. I think they said around between 7 and midnight, somewhere around there. It's supposed to rat-a-tat-tat. But I pray all will be well over here. Amen. I'm trying to figure out if my lawn care people gonna come today or wait till tomorrow. And I'm getting my bushes trimmed this weekend. I'm gonna do a little outside yard beautification. Just walk around, knock down any cobwebs, you know, inspection. Do my weekly inspection. Just walk around the house and look around. So I'll probably do that early Saturday morning. And the guy that keeps my bushes trimmed, he's gonna come Saturday. And they doing fireworks Saturday night. I might just do that right by myself. It's like right around the corner from where I live, the fire station. They're gonna do a little firework, music, and food truck. So you know what? I might just go ahead on and enjoy that right around the corner. I did want to go to the movies though. If I don't go tomorrow to the matinee, not matinee, but to the, you know, on Tuesday nights, they have like the Tuesday night special. It's real packed though. But I want to go see either Indiana Jones or The Flash. It's going to be either one of them that I go see. And look, y'all, so much has been going on in the news when we were going on vacation. It's a tragedy what happened to that Titan submariner, isn't it? But you know what? We all can learn from that, at least when I look at stuff. And I thought, you know, man, what was the lesson that could be learned from that? And you know, it's weird, but I got to thinking about it because, of course, the whole world pretty much was watching, waiting to see if that submariner was going to be located. And it was a race against time, wasn't it, y'all? You know, are they going to run out of oxygen? Are they going to be found before that oxygen run out? And there was all this speculation and all this and that and the other and all these different scenarios, because that, you know, that's just what we do as a human race. We think about things. We deduce things. We brainstorm. The what if, the unknown is what causes us to think those things. And after all the dust is settled and all that good stuff, according to the reports, because you got conspiracy theorists still don't believe that that even occurred. You got some people that don't believe that they're missing. This was all a hoax, whatever your get down and belief is in it. But as I was looking at all the reports and people talking about this and that, and how a lot of people were against it to start with, they were against it because of what that submariner was made out of and how it wasn't stable. Just again, for those of you who watched it, you understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, there was a bunch of questions, and should you do this? Should you take this submariner in such depthness of the ocean, and you're not sure? But of course, when you're an explorer or you're a scientist, that's what they do. They explore the unknown and to get to the known. Isn't it true? Isn't that how we have evolved over years and over time? You explore things. You look at those things to gain insight. And we think about people that went to the moon for the first time. A lot of things were, oh no, we can't do this, we can't do that as a people, and why would you want to go to outer space? So all those things, as a race of people, we have done things and explored the unknown. So I look at it, this is no different. But the only thing that I had to look at and focus on, because I thought about that in my own life. When you have certain resources, or you have a source, or in this particular case, when you have money, and some people have millions, billions, even trillions of dollars. They just have a source and a wealth of income that allows them and affords them to travel into space, perhaps. It's nothing for you to have a source of income where, for those people who have it, $250,000 is what was quoted as the cost that this billionaire that was one of the 5 aboard that submariner, that was the cost to go deep down into the abyss, to go and explore the Titanic, the bigger ship that had sunk some decades ago. So I got to thinking about that thing, that although you had many scientists, many experts in that whole ocean, and National Geographic, all those people weighed in on it, and they said, they didn't think it was a good idea, but again, people like to explore. So whatever the cost is, whatever the naysayers said, and this goes back to gut intuition, it's all in us to cause us to pause on some things. Not that you don't live your life, not that you don't afford yourself those things in which you can attain or accomplish or explore. But I thought about, when you have those type of resources that allow you to be able to do that and this, sometimes you have to look at, okay, just because I have this resource, just because I have this again, we're talking about money that allows me to do this, doesn't mean I should always do it, especially if I have a large community that are in this field of study. And they're saying, don't think you need to go because the materials in which you're going to be encapsulated not strong enough. It's not going to sustain, and it could be a death mission for you. And there were, like I said, there were many people talking, many people in this area of expertise, marine biology, all that. You have to sometimes take heed to what people are saying. And I think, let us not throw caution to the wind. Just because we have the means of doing something, just because we've got it, doesn't again mean that we always should do it. Don't throw caution to the wind. So even in our own lives, yeah, we may have the money to do this and do that, and yeah, we may have the means of doing this and then doing that, but sometimes if there's a gut or intuition or an instinct that says, you know what, let me pause on that. Let me hit the pause button on that. I don't want my resources to be so blinding that I don't see the caution in not moving forward on something. I don't want to be so anxious so I can be able to tell everybody, oh, I was the first to do this, or I was the first to do that, or I want to show everybody that, I can do it too. And you throw all caution to the wind, all because why? You want to be the talk of the town, and you want to, again, oh, I'm a billionaire, I'm a millionaire, I do what I want to do. And for all intents purposes, that might be the truth. But it almost goes back to that scripture, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world, but you lose your soul? And I got to think about that thing when I saw that the demise of those people. And like I said, sure, we can get into a car and meet whatever demise. Oh, sure. We know those things, but we understand that those are quite normal things that we do on a day-to-day basis. We have to drive our vehicles to get from point A to point B. They say the safest mode of transportation is actually flying. But again, I got to thinking about that thing. I thought, man, even with me and traveling more and doing more outside activities and just having a burst of energy with my health, and I still, as I'm coming and going, I'm still very cautious that I may not do a whole lot of stuff at nighttime if I'm by myself. Not saying that I won't do nighttime activities, but while I'm alone, that's going to be extremely limited. And even though I know things can happen to any of us during the daytime, but again, I still have protection with myself, and I don't throw caution to the wind as I go to and from wherever it is that I'm going. So for me, I got to thinking about that thing. I thought, even with us, it could be everyday mundane. You come into a little bit of money and you decide, oh, let me do, and we get Again, sometimes we can get excited about the fact, oh, we got a little bit more money than what we normally do, and you just, you know, you throw caution to the wind and you begin to do things frivolously. And that was just a reminder. Now that was just for me. That's just the angle I looked at it. It could mean something totally different to anybody else that thought about what was going on with that situation. But again, based on what the people that knew this billionaire, that people that were close to the situation, and all the communication that went forth prior to them going about, hey, don't think this is a good idea. Again, I'm only going based on what was reported. So I know in our lives, that's something that I think about. Girl, don't, just because you have it now, that don't mean you got to go out and spend it. You know, sometimes it's okay to keep some things for a little rainy day. Don't get so caught up because you have certain resources, and you get into a spend mode. You know, it's one thing if you're spending and you're investing, and it's going to give you a return eventually, perhaps one day, like a home and things you put in your home that retain or have value. And again, to each its own. Whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you peace. But at the same time, always be thinking about, do I want to do things frivolously, and I have to meet my unfortunate demise doing so. God, of course, wants us to live an abundant life, and He wants us to explore all this beautiful world He has created. Oh, absolutely. But again, don't throw caution to the wind just because you have those unlimited resources. Oh my God. And again, that's just what I looked at, because I started to do something the other day, and I thought, no, it ain't time to do that, Tanya. Just wait on that. Wait, I say. Just wait on that. Don't get so anxious. Although you may have those resources, just sort of kind of chill on that right now. Just kind of chill on that. And so sometimes we have to do that. Oh, absolutely. But anyway, y'all know how I can jaw jack. Had to come out here and get me a little eye break. But you know what? I'm switching channels, switching lanes. Y'all, you know how you flip through TikTok, and I love whenever Steve Harvey, his team, like do the little clips from his show. And something he said, you know, when you hear something, it's things you already know, but it's almost like the word faith come by hearing, and what hearing by the word of God. There's just some things that you just have to hear, and it activates your faith. It activates you into motion. It activates you into action to say, okay, I got that. Oh, that nugget right. Oh, yes, I got it. I got it. So the thing that I got, Steve Harvey said this. He said, you know what? Well, let me set it up. You know how there's people in his audience may ask questions. Well, there was a woman in the audience, and again, I'm paraphrasing, and she asked a question to Steve along this line. She said, you know, what do you do when you are loyal to someone, and you're just faithful to that person, and they don't reciprocate that same to you? And, you know, how do you do that? You know, apparently the woman was struggling with that, or perhaps maybe she was asking for someone else. But anyway, that was the gist of the question. How do you deal with people that you're loyal to and you're faithful to, and whatever the scenario is in that relationship, how do you deal with the disappointment of them not reciprocating? And you know what? Steve said this. He said, you know what? He said, I just learned this actually myself about a year and a half, 2 years ago. He said, loyalty has an expiration date. I said, good God Almighty, you better say that. And when he said that, I said, oh my God, you better talk about it. He said, loyalty has an expiration date. And as I began to listen to him, he said, you know, there's always an expectation that people are going to do you like you do them. Oh, yes. Or at least we expect them to. See, this is why the God tells us, love people, but trust me. Oh, yes. You can love people. You can believe in people, all that. But look, you better be trusting me now. Because, see, God is not a man that he will lie. We humans were flawed. And when Steve said it, I said, my God. See, because man and people are going to tell you everything. They may tell you everything you want to hear. They may get you to believe whatever it needs. They need you to believe for that particular season because they want to get something out of you, or they're trying to, whatever that is. Y'all know how I say it. But I said, oh my God, that is really the truth. It has an expiration date. That same person that you maybe locked hands with and thought it was going to make it last forever. You thought it was going to last forever. You made promises to one another and you were going to be true and loyal to one another, and you never thought they would disappoint you because, oh my God. But loyalty does have an expiration. You don't want it to. And one thing about getting something, baby, let me tell you something. It's just like when I was talking and answering a viewer's comment about, you know, what do you do? How do you get over to get over? How do you get over the relationship? How do you get over that person? And one thing you have to remember, when you get it, you gotta get it. When you recognize that's what it is, when you recognize, oh, they're not loyal anymore. They're not in it anymore. I don't see a future anymore. It ain't working anymore. And the more and more you try to hold on to that idea of that person or y'all, when people want to leave out of your life, let them leave on out. Because I recognize there are going to be people, they're not going to ever see anything through. They don't get to their expected end. Like God said, look, I'm going to help you. You gonna, if you trust me, I'm gonna allow you to endure to the end. But a lot of people, some people, not all, some people, they won't get to the expected end because they always quit. They always bail out. And I'm not saying that sometimes you have to bail out. Look, didn't God say he will provide us all a way of escape? Yes, he will. But they're gonna always be people that they're, and see, once you know that, although you don't want it to be that way, you want everything to continue to ride off into the sunset, peaches and cream. Oh, absolutely. And we should never lose hope of that. We don't want our hearts to be so hardened that we can't have a life like that. Oh, absolutely. We all should want a life like that. Absolutely. But we also have to know and get it that there are going to be people in our life, or we may come in contact with, they're not going to endure and stick it out. They're just not. And once you recognize that you have found yourself in that situation, that's when you have to, honey, the worst thing we can do is fight it. And beg that person or beg them to do right by you. Honey. Once you get it and you recognize, this is what's happening to me. This is what's going on. Baby, the best thing for you to do is release whatever that situation is, whatever that is. The best thing to do is just release them folk, release that situation in love, because you ain't gonna do nothing but cause more drama and problems for yourself trying to hold on. Well, let me just explain it one more time. Let me just do it this way. Let me just do it. And again, don't hear what I'm not saying. There may be times in your life that you have to and may have to go down that path. It just depends on whatever that is. But when you're dealing with people, places, and things, honey, let them go. And don't fight against it. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. You gotta let something, look, I'm just telling you. And I understand people want to live their own life and their own experience, and they want to learn from their own experience. But I'm just here to tell you, loyalty is going to have an expiration. And guess what? And while I was thinking about that, and meditating and just talking to the Lord too about what Steve Harvey said. And you know, one thing the Lord dropped in my spirit too, he said, yeah, and one thing about standards, look, we all have a standard of what we think loyalty should be. Even in friendships, we all have standards, right? But guess what? I also learned too, and the Lord showed me, people will change their standards without your permission. So when you think they supposed to have this particular standard, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with you believing in a person to act a certain way, to be a certain way. Oh, absolutely. But baby, honey, people will change their standards and will not ask your permission. And guess what? They don't need our permission. They just do it whenever they feel like it. So again, it goes back to the question that woman was asking. And we all ask that question sometime or another. Oh, I can't believe, I put my all in. They think I'm the boogeyman. I'm just trying to help them. I make suggestions and they think I'm the enemy. No. As women, we were created to be helpmates, to help. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to recognize everybody ain't gonna receive your help. Everybody may not want your help because they can't take constructive criticism. They don't want nobody telling them what to do. They don't want to accept. Look, I have learned too, some people love to stay exactly where they are. Now they say out of their mouth, oh, the Lord is great. He gives me and they just, them jokers are so mad that they see you persevering, and all they want to do is be able to sit back in that chair and say, yeah, I did this for people, I did that, and I ain't never got nobody, I ain't never got this, never got that. Pole mouthing or just what? You better change your way of speaking and thinking. Now, who you really mad at? Sound like you mad with the Lord. Don't get mad with me because God is blessing, because I ain't gonna be mad when he bless you. I'm going to be saying, look at our God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven and earth. Oh, absolutely. But I have learned, people, there are some people, not all, they want to be able, it's almost like they don't feel like they're living unless they are in misery. They're always having to fight. The devil is a liar. Some people feel that way, that they feel like, oh, if I ain't always got my knuckles in the sand, That ain't what the God told me. He said the battle is not mine, it's his. And guess what, the good fight of faith I'm fighting. I'm putting my faith and trust in God and letting him fight my battles, whatever those are. That's what he told me to do. That's what the word told me to do. So, honey, you sit around and fight, and you feel like that's the only way you feel like you living is that you always are in some type of a struggle. The devil is a liar. Absolutely not. But I recognize there are some people, they will continue to attract misery. Again, they say out of their mouth, "Oh, the Lord is great, and he's greatly to be praised." But I don't see you doing anything. I'm talking about you putting your faith to work to move and persevere forward. You want to stay in that familiar spirit arena. And my God said, I'm going to have more than enough. If that means I'm going to have more than enough peace, I'm going to have more than enough joy, I'm going to have more, honey. And that's the thing about getting things. Once you get it and say, okay, I recognize this is what's happening to me. This person, them, they, whatever, don't want to be a part of this ride anymore. And you know personally you've done nothing. You know personally you've done nothing but you just living your best life. And people who think they're going to have a perfect life, they ain't going to never, whether you're in a relationship or marriage, whatever, there are people, they think everything's supposed to be peaches and cream and perfect. So the first sign where they actually have to communicate or work through something, they're ready to bust a move. They ain't even willing to put in the work. But then they'll get into another relationship and do the same thing. It's like, again, that constant repetitive. I refuse to do that anymore. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I feel like I'm wasting people's time. If you're, and I'm just talking in general, if you know you're a person that is never going to commit or be loyal, like that woman was asking in that Steve Harvey clip, if you know that you're not a person that can be faithful, that can be loyal, that can work through things, can love a woman or love a man the way that a woman and man should love each other, knowing that, yeah, you can go out any day of the week and they're probably going to be a better looking man and they're going to be a better looking woman. That's a fact. But if you ain't willing to love the one you're with, and you know you're not going to commit, and you know you, honey, don't waste each other's time. Don't waste another female or man's time. If you know if that's not going to be the end result. And you can't be faithful, you can't be loyal. Because guess what? For you men, when you find a wife, do you recognize that you've obtained favor from God? Now, of course, y'all got to work things out within your own relationship, absolutely. But when you find a good wife, when you find a wife, rather, you obtain favor from God. So if you, as a man, you don't believe that, and you try to do like Adam do and blame God for, oh, this woman you gave me. No, Adam, you just weren't in your place doing what you were supposed to do. See. But anyway, that's a whole nother video, y'all. I'll get deep on that. But all I wanted to just say that, number one, when you have resources and sources and access to things, don't get so overzealous and become frivolous. And then number two, when it comes to loyalty, let me tell you, and standards of people, and like I said, those things will expire and they will change without your permission, honey. See, we think everything got to go through us. That's the other thing. Ain't that the truth? We like to be in control. We didn't get the memo that you were changing on us. But you have to know, once you get it, once you know that people will do that, and if they're not willing to work things out, you just have to let it go. And once you get that, I think once we get that and understand that, that's why I was saying about relationships ending or whatever that is. Just continue to make those decisions that move you into that direction. So you're not going back and forth and causing and having to restart the clock. You were doing good. 6 months gone by, then what do you do? Oh, you picked up the phone and called her or him, knowing it needed to be over. Now you're back at square one. All that stuff rushed back in. Don't do that to yourself. And same way with people and loyalty. Just love them, release them, and love them. You just know not to do that with them no more, because you've learned. And again, when you get to a point in your life and you get it and you understand, you get it and you say, oh, got it. Don't keep playing with it. Don't keep doing things that will cause you to put yourself high blood pressure, stress. You having to drink prune juice and recognize it, release it, and say, Father God, my master, I thank you that you helping me today, that you're going to move me through this situation, and you're going to bring me to my expected end of healing, understanding. I've learned some things, and this is what I'm taking away from it, so that I can what? Be stronger, wiser, and better. And my latter years are going to be greater than the former ones. I ain't going to make them former mistakes anymore. I'm going to continue to press toward the mark. Every day I'm going to be pressing toward that mark. Every day. Oh, God, I thank you. So just let that marinate in your hearts and on your mind. Think once you get things and once you recognize things, don't play with it. Don't torture yourself and try to, well, again, like I said, oh, let me say it this way to her. Let me say it this way to him. You don't say it 900 different ways. You don't try to do it and fix it 700 different times. Some people are just not going to go through it with you. Because either they don't know how to, or they don't want to, or they don't want to, or they just want to sit in that familiar spirit and say with their mouths now. Remember that. But really and truly, they really, that's why Jesus asked the man at the well, do you really want to be healed? And see, that's how it is with some people. Do you really? Because you saying with your mouth now, and I ain't seen you do anything to work toward what you running your mouth about. Sometimes, like I said, how the young folks say, you got to sometimes be about it. And that's what God is saying. Look, honey, you listen. Faith without work is dead. And it's in any situation in your life. You've got to recognize, you've got to get it and say, okay, got it. I gotta move, press. If anything else, just say, ooh, I gotta press. I gotta press toward a different mark. Let me press. I'm doing the moonwalk. Can't do the moonwalk. I need to continue to press forward. So, anyway, y'all know I can jaw jag, y'all. Whew. All right, y'all. I love y'all. God bless. And may the peace of the Lord be with you.